Hello and welcome to Ballam Road Farm. This is episode 8, turning out of the cows, plus lots more. It's going to be a really busy day. We're just after 5 a.m. in the month/day of April, and it's time to get the cows out. First of all though, we have to do our morning milk, so we can get all the milk such as it is. The production is pretty low at this point in time. It's going to get even lower once the cows go out, but they will be happy out on the fields. They know nothing about the economic hardships that we're going through. Right, so from the old cow barn I've put all the milk into the dairy, and now from the new cow barn I'm going to first of all do the 2 vending machines, so 1,000 litres into each of those, and then the balance will go to the ice cream maker. At this point in time it's probably about 4,000 or 5,000 litres. Right, so you'll notice first of all that we are starting to make a little bit of a feature of the vending machine. So I've put up a nice gazebo over it. In this case I put a couple of milk pails, milk pails, yes. Are they pails? I'm not sure. There we go. Not really knowing my English vocabulary. One would swear it's not my first language. In any event, that's beside the point. There we go. It's the first 1,000 litres in there. At least it's over £1,000 in income. Nowhere near what we will be getting when and if the economic situations change, but that's what it is at this stage. We have to work with it. Right, so this is going down to the vending machine at the biogas plant. The vending machines are working pretty well. People seem to be liking them. The one down to the biogas plant in particular seems to be getting a lot of traction. Haven't done quite as much beautification down here yet, just put up the gazebo. As and when we have bits of time, we'll beautify them. We'll make them look more appealing to the customer, but at the end of the day it's the milk they want. Right, so the balance we'll just pick up here, and that will go down to the ice cream maker down at the golf course. And once that's done, then we've pretty much done our morning chores in terms of the milking, and got some income out of the whole thing. So good start to the day. The rest is all hard work today. Very hard work. So first of all we're going to start on turning out the cows, get them back into the fields. I will get the 2 milk producing herds, so the old barn and the new barn, cleared first. So here we are starting at the old barn. We'll load up. I'll show you the first load and the last load of these. Of this one, should I say. Right, there we go. That's a first load of 6 up, and this is going to come into the top field near to the milking parlour, and we'll put all 48 of those from the old barn, plus there were 2 that went into the new barn, which we'll also put in here once we clear out the new barn. Right, let's get that through. We'll deliver these, and then I'll just show you the last delivery, just so that we can show completion of the operation. So there we go, 0 from 150 in there. Now there should be 6 from 150. Of course we don't have 150 cows in there, there'll only be 50 cows. Right, and then this should be the last 2, I think. No, last 6. Of course, it's 48 in here. It's not 50. Yeah. So that's the last 6. And we'll just go and offload these. That's the first turnout done. Pretty quick. But then this was a really quick one. You didn't have far to transport them. From the old barn, it's going to be a little bit further and a little bit more complicated in terms of the delivery, but it's still not too bad, really. Right, 42, and those 6 will make 48, so there's still 2 to come from the old barn, and those will go in once I've cleared, as I said, once I've cleared the old barn. So let's get the old barn, at least the new barn. Let's get this new barn cleared. Turn them out. The easiest way to get in and out here without having to reverse this trailer is just to drive straight through the barn. Right, we'll get those out and we'll put those into the field across the road. So these are the older ones. These are the, I think they 26 months old. They're also at 60% of reproduction cycle, so they're going to be reproducing in the next couple of months. And we'll have calves. And then of course we'll leave the calves on their mothers to start with. We'll fight with them for the milk to start with, just so that they have some quality of life. And then when we bring them in from the fields, we'll separate them off, so sort of November time. By that time I think their mothers would have kicked them out in the event. Right, so this offloading area is down at the bottom of this field. So we'll open that gate and we'll drive through this side. We'll drive through the field on the left here, across the river, and that'll give us a nice little loop on this delivery cycle, if you want to call it that. I'm a great believer in loops when working. Circles when working. Well, not necessarily circles, but no backtracking, or very little backtracking, as little backtracking as you can, so there's little covering ground that you've already covered. I don't know if that is really efficient or not, but that's the way I like to do it normally. Right, so that's the first lot in there. Nice big field here. They can eat the flowers, they can eat the grass, all looking good and lush. Of course, in the field that we brought them off after last winter, we will leave to recover this year. The other thing is this field that we're just passing now, and where all the vehicles are parked. I think I'm going to be repurposing that. I think we'll put a couple of more sheds on there for the vehicles. Right, so we're down to the last 4, so 2 of those are going to go to the field across the road, and then the last 2, I won't show it, I will put into the upper field, the middle-aged, or the what would one call them? The youngsters, as opposed to the babies. So there's the last 2 in there, and that's pretty much the cows, the milking cows turned out. I'm going to leave the young ones in the shed. We'll do those most probably in the next cycle, the next month or day. Right, so I decided to turn out the Anguses as well. Let's get them out onto the fields. And I'll just show you the one loop of this, and we'll get them all out. The limousines I'm going to leave for another month. Just want to fatten them up a little bit more before I put them out onto the field, because some of them will start to be sold. As I said, we're going to specialize in Angus's, and I want to sell the limousine herd onto whoever wants them, because I want to sell them in calf, because I think I'll get a fairly good price for them. Of course, it's a good deal if we're selling them in calf for people buying them. Right, so that's done. So the Anguses are turned out. Now I'm going to just fill up this tractor, and then I'm going to go and get a water tanker, because I've put in 3 small greenhouses to start growing tomatoes, lettuce and strawberries for the farm shop. I need to just go and put water into those during the course of the day. I need a water tanker for that, so we'll just pop down to the store and go and buy a water tanker. Well, once again, very much like the milk tank, I have cobbled together a water tanker from a water tank that I had on the farm, and I've had the workshops down here at the shop make up a trailer for it, and it's quite big. It'll take 10,000 liters of water, and also it'll it's cheap. They charged me 2,500 for the conversion, and for 10,000 liters of water. It's a little bit unstable when you drive around with it, but it's not too many problems. I also supplied them with a couple of old double tires that I had lying around the farm, and yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It looks nice and new. Painted it all out for me. So we'll pop along to the first greenhouse I've put up near the cattle barn, the beef cattle barn. It's also quite close to the source of water. Got a hand pump there which we can hand pump water into this tanker. It's a bit slow, so bear with me. I'll put one of the lads onto filling up the tanker. In the meantime, we'll pop along and see how the grass cutting is going. Off camera, I got the top field 19, got the mower onto that to start cutting it to make hay, but of course as soon as you want to make hay, the sun goes and it started raining. So I'll keep cutting, but we'll wait for the rain to stop before I ted it. Ideally, of course, in the real world you'll want to cut at least a day's worth of good sunshine and a bit of a breeze on the grass, just to dry it out a bit more before you ted it. But the nature of the game is such, and the time constraint in playing at 5 times speed means you have to make some allowances for the game as opposed to playing. If you wanted to play it ultra realistic, you'd have to play on real time. It'd be pretty boring in terms of making a video, and pretty time consuming in terms of generating the content to make the video, of course. Right, so we're just finishing off the little bits and pieces that the worker didn't missed. So the worker, I think it was my son who did this one. Once we've done that, we'll head on down to, I think it's field 20, but it's just the other side of the farm, towards the golf course end of the farm. I'll show you where that is now. We're going to get that, go and start mowing up that one as well. hopefully by that time I'll get a call saying that the water tanker has been filled with water and I can start getting the greenhouses active. I say active, get them up and running. So we're just going past the farm on the left hand side there, and just a little way down the road here we should start slowing down to find the gate. The field is on the right hand side, you can see it there. There's the gate there. Yeah. And while we were watching the gate we strayed over onto the wrong side of the road. Luckily this gentleman driving the black car was vigilant and perceived the danger. No doubt we'll be getting a letter in the mailbox from the public saying, "What are you doing driving on the wrong side of the road?" I did wave to him. We know the guy. You know, I know he's going to give me a couple of words eventually for doing that. Next time we're down at the rugby club, we'll be having a couple of words. I won't be arguing too much. He's our prop forward, so yeah, those guys are pretty strong, you know. Not that us farmers are too shabby, but yeah, you don't want to get involved with a prop forward. Okay, enough of the frivolity. Let's get going. So I'll do the headland here and just get it started again. Get the workers and the kids onto the tractor to finish it off. Quite a oddly shaped field, so probably going to have to square off things a little bit just so that they don't have to use too much brain power in working with it. Keep getting caught up on the fence and trying to get as much grass as possible, being greedy. I do like to keep the hedges around the edges around the field natural. I will cut the grass just so that it regenerates properly. Right, there we go, the water's done, so we'll fill up this tank. I think it'll take about 5,000 litres. Fill up this tank just outside the water, just outside the greenhouse. I think it's 5,000 litres. Yeah, there we go. Let's get this turned around. I'll fill it up again after that so that I've got 10,000 litres for the other house, for the other greenhouses. And let's just get these all activated. So tomatoes, lettuce and strawberries. We'll do little bits of everything in every one, because it might be easier to deliver to different places. It's just another chore that we'll have to add to our daily chores every day. But at least, given the circumstances, the economic circumstances that we are in at the moment, it'll be another source of income. It's all about trying to generate more income to make up for the income that we lost when we were in just sort of normal economic situations in the few months when we first started. It's pretty harsh on us that as we are trying to develop that we've had to get into these tough economic times, but you can either just sit it out and just plod along with what you have, or what I've decided to do is be as aggressive as I can in terms of new productions and new sources of income in this period. Pretty tight. We're always going to be tight on the money. We've only got 44,000 in the bank. That's not bad, but it's fairly tight, and within the parameters of what we have, we will try and grow our income sources as much as possible. Right, So the sun has come out, or the rain has stopped. Let's not say the sun has come out. So we'll get the tether onto this tyre, onto the tyre 2, and we'll get up to that top field, field 19, and we'll start the tedding process, which is going to be fairly slow. So we'll put a worker onto that. We'll do a little bit of the headlands ourselves and put a work onto that. I might not finish tedding today because it'll be getting dark pretty soon, but we'll finish it off. If we finish it off in the next period, so in May. And then I think I'm going to have to bale. I think I will be baling the hay, but we'll sort that out next month. Right, let's just get going there. We did buy this one, it's not very wide. And we also need to fertilize, put some muck onto the fields that we cut towards the first grass fields that we cut at the end of last year. And we'll need to buy a rake to rake those fields up as well, so that they'll be ready for cutting at the end of the year. Right now we'll cut this field. We've got the other field that we're really cutting. There is another field which I'll show you in the next episode that we'll cut, and I'm not sure whether we'll make that into hay or straw. We'll have a look and see what happens with these two fields. And then at the end of the year we'll have the other fields ready to go, and then we'll be able to sort these fields out with a bit of fertilizer and rake them up. Right, so let's just get this going. I think my daughter had to nip off to, I'm not sure what she wanted to do, one of her extracurricular activities. So I'll just get this going, and then we'll get my son down there to take over this one. I've got a worker up on the top field, so yeah, just trying to get as many actions going at the same time. And once I've got this, there he goes, he's off. Let's make sure he's doing okay. Right, so we'll get the second greenhouse. Now this is very, very tight. You might sort of nick the, yeah, we have just nicked the, don't know why I made it. I should have made it a little bit smaller, but I think I'll be able to get through. I'm sure I measured that it would just make it if I just drove properly. Oh, the neck. Not too much of a problem. It's just minor little scratches. As I've said plenty of times before, if the machine isn't scratched, it hasn't been working. Oh yeah. Right. Put 5,000 litres into here. And then we mustn't forget we haven't delivered to the farm stalls yet. There's always something on the go. There's always something. Got the drone struck in the trees now. Right, let's just get this out quickly, and then I'll come back and fire up this greenhouse. Just get it sorted, get it producing. It's pretty tight. We can get out. Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's just get back and get that started. As I said in the last one, we're just going to do a bit of everything in every greenhouse, so that we're never sure. You know, I'm never going to be sure whether I can clear them all. There, you know, I've been trying to use little areas, little spots that haven't been utilized. So we had that little area just between the barns down at the beef cattle shed that I just popped one in there. This one here, we've had this little. We used to just keep all the odds and ends and scraps of stuff in. Cleared that out a little bit here and just put in a greenhouse there. I did, and I should have made it facing the other way, but I thought that it'd be easier to spin the tractor around the front. But yeah, it should have been facing the other way around, so I could just reverse the tractor in. But then we probably would have struggled a little bit in with the pellets spawning on site. In any event, we work with what we have. Right, so let's get these things done. So I put a pallet of butter into the farm shop. They're going to take the other cheese. So they always get first choice of what's available. Of course, it's all part of wanting to attract people to the farm. We have some other ideas for the little, the small little fields around it, just perhaps putting in some other animals. So when people come to the farm shop, they can go and feed them and have a look at them. But I did get a call from the golf course cafeteria asking for a pallet of butter, so that was quite nice. So we'll just deliver this. Yeah, I like it when they phone up, because I can just add it onto my runs, coming to keep the farm stall down at the golf course farmers market stocked. So essentially it's free fuel. Or another way of looking at it, I suppose, is that our fuel costs for delivering to the farm stall are halved. Yeah. Gets back to what I was talking about earlier on in one of the earlier episodes of simultaneous actions. We're getting quite good at that today. We've got the top field tedding, the middle field that we're doing cutting grass, and we're doing deliveries ourselves. So everybody's working. Don't think there's too many people loafing around. Right, so you can see it's a good few pounds difference between delivering to the stall and to the golf cart, but not the golf cart, into the golf cafeteria. But we've got to keep our own stuff stocked first. Right, should put a light up there so that you can see the actual delivery. Right, so we've still got the one greenhouse, and that's on the driveway into my daughter's place. She wasn't too happy, but hey, she gets a free house. Said, "You want the free house? Let me put up a..." No, I didn't. Just joking. Yeah, she's quite happy to have it in there. As long as she can get a little mini past it down the side there, she's happy. I will try and clear this in the daylight so you can see where it actually is. Keep pestering her to cut down the hedges that are coming into their property, but yeah, she likes to leave them a little bit wild. Claims that she's right. She's establishing paths for insects and small mammals and animals to move between fields. And I think I was starting to allude that early on when we were cutting the grass, that that's why we like to leave some borders on our fields, just so that there are ways for the wildlife to move. without having to run through the fields. And they will still go through the fields, but at least they've got routes to move. Right, the other phone call that I got today was from the biogas plant, and they're looking for a bit of manure or some form of input to keep going. They're running a little bit low on stocks, so I've said to them that as I've turned out all the cows, I'll bring down manure to them. They can make it into digestate, which I can get back from them at a later stage to go on the fields. I've got quite a bit of slurry, which is what I'll put on the top two fields this season. Maybe on the fields that I'm busy cutting now. See if there's any slurry left. See if there's what sort of digestate comes from this. In any case, that's tomorrow's problem. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for watching. As usual, please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching, and cheerio.